I'm here with Mr. Rob Ayers, and how you doing today?
I'm doing great.
That's good. So my first question for you is: it's been 30 years since a biblical film, since
Yes.
Prince of Egypt. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. So, what is the main goal that you wanted while writing this film?
Well, the main goal I wanted was to see, can you tell this story to a wide audience? You know, that a lot of times when you see the story of Jesus told, it's told in such a grim way. It gets so dark, especially in the end, you know, where if you're watching it with a kid, you have to cover their eyes and you have to say, like, okay, leave the room. You know, like, I told you this was a great story, but you can't watch it all. And the way that Jay wanted to tell it was, let's tell it for the family. You know, let's tell this through, you know, using whatever skills I had as a Disney Pixar guy, you know, and, you know, Fresh Prince and all that to see if we could tell it in a very entertaining way that could be great for the family. And I think we've achieved that. It's fantastic.
So with the lineup of cast, which the cast is packed.
Oh,
like,
my
it's
goodness.
beautiful. Like,
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes.
So have you, with the writing, did you find ways of channeling them as a person in each character they portray?
Well, the key as a writer, with all of them, with Princess and the Frog, with Captain America: Brave New World, and this is to find ways to approach characters that where everybody is treated dimensionally. You know, where each character, you know, there's not just dialogue on a piece of paper. You're saying, like, well, what does this character want, and what are they afraid of, and what is cool about them, what's going to be fun for the actor to play. And if you respect that, then hopefully actors see it, and they say, oh, this is going to be a good meaty part for me to play, and then they do it.
So with this being a bit bibliological film, excuse me. Words not coming out today.
Yeah, right.
This
right.
being a bibliological film and for children, what was, in being the life of Jesus, that we all know he get crucified at the end, all that good stuff, what was the ways of you finding that for a child to perceive that and digest that?
Right. Well, the key is that it's why. Why does that happen? You know, he does it for us, and he does it. You know, there's this great book called God: A Biography, and it talks about how God has always tried to make us make the right decisions, and we always make the wrong ones. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
So we're thrown out of the Garden of Eden. There's a flood. You know, there's Tower of Babel, and then he says, "Okay, look, Jesus. You know, here's my son. Do this, and believe in me." And walk in my ways, and if you take that from a religious perspective, that's fine. But you can also take it from just like a character's perspective and say, this was a great character, this was a great person, who lived a great life and did astounding things. And once you do that, then you say, okay, now I know how to tell this story, and now I know what I want people to take from it, and I know what I want them to share with other people as they do it.
My last question.
Okay.
So, the movie is obviously been told by Charles Dickens. Could we expect to see the film from his perspective or his son's perspective that he's telling it to?
It's the perspective of Charles Dickens telling it, a father to a son.
Okay.
And a son who doesn't want to hear the story. You know? And so you start there and you just say, okay, well, what would a father do to convince his son that this is the better story to listen to? And you know, you start there and you just have fun with it. And you draw the kid into the story as the audience comes, and by the end of it, you know, the kid is fully invested. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time, and I can't wait to see the film.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
April 11th.
April 11th.
To the audience, sure. Hey, hi, I'm Jamie Thomason. I'm the casting director and the voice director and one of the EPs and one of the co-writers
Oh, you're a man
on
of many
The
jobs.
King of Kings.
You're a man of many jobs, I see.
I had some stuff to do.
So with all your roles, what was the biggest issue or challenge that you find during all of this?
I gotta say, people always ask about the challenges. There were lots of opportunities. It was a great opportunity and a great experience. The only challenge was, well, there was a worldwide pandemic right in the middle of it that added a twist. It's been an epic journey, I will say. They first called me 7 years ago. I've been on this movie for 7 years. Now Jay, the Helmer, the O2, has been on for 10 years, so he wins. But I've done a lot of movies, 100-something movies, and I ain't never been on a single movie for 7 years. 3 years, 4 years if it's big, 5 if something happens, but 7, never.
Big number. I
Yeah.
see.
So
You, from my understanding, your job was to find a cast, correct?
yeah, I hired the actors that do the voices, and then I go into a recording studio and I direct them, record the voices like a radio play. Then I take all those dialogue recordings and I cut them all together because we record everybody individually.
Okay.
So I get lots of coverage, and then I go into the edit room with the editor, Dave Guerrero, best dialogue editor in the world, and cut stuff together so it sounds like they're in the same room talking to each other.
So, with this cast being so packed, like you have a beautiful, stunning cast, how did you know that you found the right person for each character?
Do you think I found the right person for each character?
I think you did.
Me too. How do you know?
Because they sound
Feels
amazing.
right.
It
Yeah,
does.
right? Yeah.
It feels amazing.
Yeah, it was just really, really blessed. People really responded to the script, and just got some fantastic actor. Kenneth Branagh as Dickens. He's a student of Dickens. He could teach a college, course on it. I keep saying. He's directed a couple movies with, I think, at least one, I think two, with the character of Charles Dickens in the movie. So he's directed an actor playing Charles Dickens, and then, smash cut to me, this idiot, directing one of the greatest living actors, one of the greatest actors of all time, probably, but certainly one of the greatest actors of our time. And I'm directing him as Charles Dickens. He was very gracious. Understanding of the character was one of the things that I was looking for. Ben Kingsley is Caiaphas, as High Priest Caiaphas. I mean, he knew who that guy was to his core, man. Everything was very simple. It's not a villain. Simple. Let's kill him. Why don't we just kill him? And then Oscar as Jesus. Yeah, I mean, at first Oscar, we didn't think he could do it. The schedules weren't syncing up. And then it took 7 years. So it circled back that now he could do it. And it was like, great.
Beautiful.
Hi, I'm Fred Tatasciore, voice actor.
Alrighty, and you're a part of the Kings of Kings. What role do you play?
Well, I play, like I do for many things, I'm a utility player, so many Romans, many villagers, many Pharisees. Well, my main character is a Pharisee, Eliezer, who is very concerned about what's going on and who is this upstart in the community. Yeah.
All right. So my major question for you is, what was the joy you found in bringing character to life to a story that's palatable, that's usually not palatable for children, but now made to be consumed by children?
Yeah, I think you just answered it for me, which is like what made the joy for me was actually having something that a child could watch and get the story, whether you're a faith-based person or not. It's just sums up the story very well, and the message is so good about kindness and love and taking care of the dispossessed and each other that it's very clear. Charles Dickens did such a great job with that. That's really what his message was for his kids. He wanted to explain it to his kids, and this film's adaptation of that does it so well. And in playing those characters, you want to go from a very human point of view. You don't want to be a good guy or a bad guy. It's people who are scared. How are we responding to fear? And so that's pretty much how I had to approach these characters, because a lot of them, we're tough on JC in this one.
Yeah.
We're really, and so it was. But again, it has to come from a real place, not just anger or hatred. It's like
love,
or forgiveness, or even if you're going to crucify him or you're going to do stuff, it's coming out of absolute fear of like, what is this? And so that's kind of how the approach we had to have in that. And like I say, what makes me happy about it, or what's the takeaway, is that it's something that we can release to the world and feel good about it, and whether you're a faith-based person or not, it actually tells the story very well. And it's not something that children have to avert their eyes from or anything. It's just, it explains things in one sitting, which is very hard to do.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time I have for you.
Andre,
today, but
wonderful
thank
meeting you. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you for
Great question.
all the legendary work you do.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Hello there, I'm James Arnold Taylor.
Nice to meet you. So, what is your role, part of this film, Kings of Kings?
Oh, so in The King of Kings, I am many different characters. You can play Where's Waldo with me in the credits and try to figure out which ones I am. So I play Melchior, who is one of the three wise men and brings frankincense to the baby Jesus. I'm also Matthew, and Matthew is, throw a little Matthew McConaughey in there. No, but, and then I'm Philip. And Thomas, no, I doubt that I'm Thomas. No, I'm not. I'm a little doubting Thomas joke. I'm also, let's see, many different characters in this movie. I play the scribe to King Herod, who is voiced by Mark Hamill. So we have a nice little Star Wars reunion, because I've, of course, been Obi-Wan Kenobi for many years. And then I'm also young Jesus in this movie, 12-year-old Jesus. And so in that one, I just brought my voice up a little higher, but really tried to give a controlled version of what Oscar Isaac might sound like at age 12.
All right. So, with you voicing so many characters in this film, what was your biggest struggle? Well, if you had any struggles, because of course you're legendary.
Oh, bless you, my friend. Bless you. You know, the struggle sometimes is, again, like characters like some of the apostles, where they're all together, and you want them all to sound real, but you also need them to sound separate from my own voice. Those are struggles sometimes, but I just find different tones. If I bring it down, I raise it up, I get a little texture, find different ways to do that. So that would maybe be one of the struggles. Also just paying homage properly to the greatest story ever told, you know, and as a person of faith, as a Christian, I'm thrilled to be able to walk a red carpet and do press and talk about Jesus. That's pretty cool. And combine my worlds of entertainment and faith is very cool. So wouldn't say it's a struggle, but it's a great honor.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, out of all the many roles of playing and voice acting, because I really appreciate what you've done, especially as Obi-Wan. You're amazing. You're amazing. Which one is by far your favorite role?
You know, I get asked this question a lot, and it's hard because I've been in a lot of different characters. So I say this, I hope it's not a cop-out. If I'm voicing Obi-Wan Kenobi, well, then he's my favorite. If I'm doing Jedi Master Plo Koon, then he's my favorite. If I'm doing Johnny Test, then he's totally my favorite. If I'm doing Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon, or Gingy, the gingerbread man from Shrek, or, well, wait a second, Doc, Michael J. Fox, or Great Scott, Christopher Lloyd, or I could do Christopher Walken, he'd be my favorite with a little cowbell, you know?
Well, thank you.
Is that fair enough?
Yes, that is fair enough. Well, thank you. You're amazing, and please continue doing amazing work, and I can't wait to see Kings of Kings.
Bless you, my friend.
Thank you.
so much. See ya.